How do optical illusions trick the brain? The role of visual perception in optical illusions. Optical illusions play with the brain's visual perception system, which interprets images based on light, color, and perspective. When these cues are manipulated, the brain makes assumptions that lead to false interpretations, causing us to see something that isn't actually there. The brain's interpretation of color and contrast. One common optical illusion involves color and contrast. For example, in the famous dress illusion, a dress appears either white and gold or blue and black, depending on how the brain interprets the lighting. The brain processes colors based on the surrounding environment, leading to different visual outcomes. The impact of depth perception on illusions. Depth perception tricks often involve 3D images presented in 2D formats, leading the brain to perceive depth where there is none. The famous Ames room illusion distorts spatial cues, causing people to appear drastically different in size depending on where they stand in the room. How movement affects visual interpretation. Some optical illusions rely on the perception of movement. For example, static images may seem to move or rotate because of how the brain processes surrounding patterns. This is often achieved by creating the illusion of motion through visual noise and contrast shifts. The influence of context on illusions. Context plays a significant role in how optical illusions are perceived. Our brains use surrounding information to make sense of visual stimuli. A common example is the same color squares illusion, where squares in a checkerboard pattern appear to be different colors because of the contextual surroundings. The use of ambiguity in visual cues. Ambiguous images create optical illusions by providing conflicting visual cues that the brain must reconcile. One famous example is the old woman, young woman illusion, where the same image can be interpreted as two different figures depending on which cues the brain prioritizes. How the brain relies on experience. The brain uses prior experiences to interpret visual information, a process known as top-down processing. When faced with an illusion, the brain draws from past knowledge to make sense of what it sees. This can lead to errors when visual information contradicts expectations. The role of peripheral vision in illusions. Peripheral vision is less detailed and more prone to distortion than central vision, making it more susceptible to optical illusions. When illusions are presented in the periphery, the brain fills in gaps and creates misleading interpretations based on incomplete visual data. Why illusions appear to work across cultures. Optical illusions often work across different cultures and societies because the brain's basic visual processing mechanisms are universal. This suggests that the way we process visual information is similar worldwide, making optical illusions an intriguing aspect of human perception. The fascinating science behind optical illusions. The study of optical illusions helps researchers understand how the brain processes visual stimuli and how our senses can be fooled. By studying these illusions, scientists can uncover more about the complexities of human perception and how the brain interprets the world around us.